We were just talking about wines. I was saying that my wife gets some at Sam's and some at Costco. Josh is one that's her everyday wine, I would say. That's a Chardonnay. Mm-hmm. It's always Chardonnay. La Crema is a more high dollar wine for special occasions. And Kendall Jackson is another that she really loves. I've seen all three in our beverage fridge. And she orders all of those from either Costco or Sam's. And they may now be crossing where they each. I've even said on occasion, maybe we could cut the wine budget.
Ooh. That was, I'm sure, met with some.
Yeah. There's no way to even time a statement like that in that family, is there?
You can't. They really can't. You can't say that. And yesterday I said the thing again that next year I'd like to go the entire year without spending even $1 on anything that's not essential. And boy, she read me the right. She ripped me a new one right there in front of our daughter. Our daughter.
Oh no, the daughter watched.
Well, yeah. Well, our daughter was
tears welling up in her eyes.
Yeah, because she was saying she's trying to do this or that. She wanted something for Christmas, and I said, "Well, that's perfect. Make it a Christmas present." Because next year, and remember this, because next year I'm trying not to spend a single dollar that's not essential. And right now she goes, when you say something like that, that is degrading to us. You are not to say something like that. And she goes, that just sounds ridiculous. And I said, but wouldn't it be a fantastic challenge to try to go through the? No, it would not. No, we're not doing that. I said, okay, that's, just essentials is all.
Degrading is an interesting choice of word to come back at you. I'm sure you never thought of that.
No, I didn't think that. In fact, I'll say degraded. I got a call yesterday. There's a guy, I think I've mentioned him before. He's a police officer that goes to the gym with me, and we've become pretty good friends. And I was a little insulted by this. He texted me and said, I have a story to tell you that involves police work and you in particular. Call me when you can. Now, I've never called him. We see each other at the gym and we'll text occasionally on, once in a while. I got his number one time because his son is a freshman in college. Mine is a junior in college. And we would text back and forth about that process.
But most of your texts are simply, you look pretty good in that rowboat today.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Or that was a tough one.
Mm-hmm. A lot of that.
Or he would say something like, I could see your balls.
Yep. He has texted that to me before. He is a police officer, and he would say things like,
if I was on duty, I'd have to arrest you.
Yes.
Exposure.
I really should write you up.
Yes. He does a lot. He does a lot of that. Yeah. Okay. So yesterday, out of the blue, he says, call me when you can.
How is he saved in your phone? First name, last name, or just cop from Jim?
He knows you well.
I prefer not. That's private. That's private.
Jim Cop.
Jim Cop.
And he's a great guy. A lot of times they will say, sometimes on the rower, you're supposed to only be pulling a certain number of strokes, like 22 strokes a minute. And the coach will say, I'll have him write you a ticket if you go faster than that. Okay. Police humor. Exactly. So anyway, he says, he texts me, and I've never gotten this type of thing from him before. He's like, I have a police story that involves you. Give me a call when you can. And I thought maybe he's caught Jaquantavius. Finally, someone's caught Jaquantavius. We have
the Pine Straw Scofflaw.
Pine Straw Bandit. We have commercials running on our air about the Pine Straw from the police officers.
The officers who went to your home.
Correct.
It is the time of year now, too, where we keep getting messages of African-American men at work.
I never said Jaquantavius was an African-American man.
I think you did once.
I don't know that.
Is this him? No.
It never is.
Who is this? That's just a black guy. And seems racist.
No, I don't. I was very careful never to give a description of Jaquantavius and his crew. I know that they were there and they swindled me out of thousands of dollars in a pine straw scam that, by the way, anyone could fall for. And my friend, the cop from the gym, said, don't you dare blame yourself for this. This is, you're the victim here.
It could happen to any shut-in or invalid.
That's right. He said that to me numerous times. Anyway, he says, call me. And so I called him, and he goes, man, you wouldn't believe what a story I heard today. I said, okay, what was it?
He's off duty, right?
He's off duty now.
Yeah.
Said, okay, so he's at home. And he said, earlier today, he said, sometimes when you work with the police department, here's what you get. I didn't have a busy day. I wasn't on patrol. and there were some phone calls. People call the non-emergency line, and we just kind of take turns calling them back. If they didn't need a visit, they just needed to call. So he's like, I volunteered to call one guy. The guy had said, I think someone is breaking into my home and just moving things around.
Now that is a brilliant crime.
Okay. Yeah. Nothing had been taken, but he left a message. I need police response to this. Someone is breaking in and moving things.
I mean, why would I put the remote in the kitchen?
Exactly.
I'm not doing this.
So my friend from the gym, who's the cop, says, well, this ought to be kind of fun. You know, I'll take this one. Sometimes they do. He's like, I deal with so many people. He's like, this will be a fun one to be on. So he calls, and the guy explains to him. He said, I'm on the phone with him for a half hour. And the guy explains to him, he thinks someone's coming in. And, oh, by the way, his Wi-Fi is spotty now. So he thinks somebody's intentionally messing with his Wi-Fi.
Do you know if this person resides in an apartment, a home?
He didn't tell me that.
Supervised care.
Yeah, he didn't tell me that. But he said, I got 5 minutes into the conversation. I was like, this guy is a little out there because he's saying he's moving things around.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's moving things around. And then he goes, we got about 15 minutes into it. And the guy, out of the blue, says to my friend, you sound like the lame Chris. And and my friend Jim Cop says, What? And he's like, I didn't know what he's saying. He's like, you know, the lame Chris. There's two of them, and one of them's real smart, and the other one's real lame, and you sound like the lame Chris. And he goes, and he's like, what? And he goes, oh, are you talking about the radio guys? Yeah, the radio guys. You know, one of them's really, really smart and funny, and the other one's always like fat then thin, fat then thin, fat then thin, and he's really lame and stupid and, you know, always talking about like what he's watching on TV and that kind of stuff.
I do know him. You're never going to believe this.
You think we sound alike?
Yeah.
He said,
yeah, hold on. Let me get some other guys. Hey, this loon.
He thinks I sound like the lame Chris. And so he says, are you talking about Chris Kelly and Chris Demm? And the guy, yes. Mm-hmm. And he's like, one of them is little and his last name, and he's real good at rock and roll and just really smart and everybody loves him. And the other one, nobody can stand. And my friend said, yeah, I know who you're talking about. And he goes, you sound like the one everybody hates.
All right, I've got all the information I need.
Exactly.
We'll be in touch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So out there somewhere, there's a loon who thinks a guy is breaking into his house and moving things around, and he thinks I'm really, really lame.
I really like his summation of the show, though.
Yeah. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Eerie.
And then my police officer friend said, I thought you'd love to hear that. And I said, well, I really do. That really makes
that warms my heart when I hear those kind of stories.
It's so good when you tell me those kinds of stories, you know.
I didn't get abused enough at work.
Right. Let me get it from you, my friend, my dear friend, who I see at the gym from time to time.
Uh-huh.
He's.
I hear a new promo coming. 2 guys named Chris. Number 1 with loons.
Well, now we've all seen enough movies to know that maybe the loon.
Yeah.
There's an apparition in the home. Biggie, you're watching every horror movie in the book.
That's true. That's right. Could be.
That's how these things always start.
Could be supernatural. Things are moving around.
Very true.
Some TV show is doing the 5 most haunted houses in America. It must be on like HGTV. And Retta is hosting, the actress comedian, and she's going to the 5 most haunted houses in America. I just saw the commercial the other night, and one of them, golly, it was like 200 years old. And everybody who's lived in it swears lights come on and go on and off and things move and that kind of thing. I don't know, though. I have to...
If we knock down the Amityville house, I can't recall the status of that. And we haven't talked about Amityville in I bet at least 5 to 10 years.
No, because we only talk about it when it's getting sold.
Right,
Yeah,
but I thought they had remodeled
They
it.
have. Those windows are no longer the iconic.
eyes.
Yeah, the iconic windows are not there anymore.
But it's still standing.
I think so, because it's beautiful property. It's right
Yeah.
there on that body of water. They sold it a few years ago for millions of dollars. It's a huge house.
Didn't we have it because somebody moved in though and claimed that they had all this trouble and we're trying to sell it again.
Would you buy it if you could afford? If it was affordable, a great deal, and you lived in that area?
No, because we've always disagreed on this. I believe in ghosts and supernatural things. You do not.
No.
So I would think this is cursed. I can't live here.
I think I'd tough it out. I think I could do it for the right escrow and the interest rate.
School zone,
the interest rate is good, and that water view,
HOA,
that property.
Yeah, see, but I also think, because we used to sometimes stay at a haunted hotel.
Was it really?
When it would snow.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah, see, but I think you don't believe, and I think you would sleep right through anything anyways. I think you are a hard sleeper. The ghost would be above you like, I mean, I think you're unhauntable.
I agree. My wife always says that I would sleep. I do. I would sleep right there. I'm a very hard sleeper.
When we'd stay at that hotel,
it's a great ad for a CPAP machine.
It is. It really is. I sleep through anything.
When we would stay at that hotel, I would ask for a room on the first floor because all the haunting stuff was on the second and third, and I just no way.
Oh, poppycock! Come on. I stayed in that hotel 5 times. Nothing has ever happened in there.
The third floor was the suicide guy. The second floor was the hooker.
What hooker?
Back then, they called her something different, though.
Who?
She was just a lady of the night.
A lady of the night.
And they would say that as you walked up the stairs, especially if you were drunk, because she was killed by a drunk guy, you'd feel what felt like somebody pushing you.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah. And I was always like, I can't even.
You didn't want to do that?
No. So I would always say, can I please stay on the first floor?
Plus, with your balance issues, we don't.
Well, this was before.
Oh,
yeah.
He was more ambulatory.
Now I don't need any help falling down the stairs.
That's right. That's exactly right. Don't need a ghost pushing you.
No.
Do you? Absolutely not. There is we were just talking about scams. The Jacques Montavious Pine Straw scam, of course, comes to mind always on this program. There's an older couple now, and this is maybe the most diabolical scam I've ever heard of. It's making news today. They are from South Carolina, Michael and Roxanne Chrisman, and they have lost their entire life savings because of this scam. And what happened to them is really, I didn't know that scammers could be this bad. One day, the guy, Michael Chrisman, was on his computer, and a message popped up that said, your computer may have been infiltrated, may have spyware on it. Call Microsoft at this number. And he thought, well, Microsoft, it is a Microsoft machine. He had Microsoft software and everything. So he said, I'm going to call him. And he called him. Okay. So then the guy on the other end of the line was the scammer, a scammer. And he says, oh, you may have, now this looks legit. And he goes, I don't want to lead you wrong in any way, but it's possible that the hackers have infiltrated your finances as well. Why don't you call your bank? And so the guy says, Chrisman says, okay, I'll call my bank. So he hangs up, and now he goes to his card, or he goes online and sees, I don't know which bank he used. Let's say Bank of America. He sees their fraud line, calls it, and it has been redirected to the hackers. Now, how would they be able to do that?
Oh, I don't know.
He went right on, and he said that the message on the computer, yes, he called that number, but then he called.
Was directed to a different number?
I bet.
He dialed a second number.
He dialed a second number. He says, this is his story here. This is the guy himself talking about it.
It was identified as a Microsoft number. So I was comfortable because I have a Microsoft system. And once I called that number, this gentleman got on and said, well, you're right, you've been compromised. We need to fix that. He says, and you may very well have been compromised in your financial accounts also. So you need to call your financial institution.
Which he did. But I guess I'll bet
and the guy didn't say, I'll stay on the line while you do it.
Maybe that's how it happened.
Yeah.
It has to be. It has to be.
Because if they're hacking phone lines, we're all doomed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How can you? So this guy, he says.
Like the number on the back of your credit card.
Right.
Yeah.
How can they hack that? How could they do that? He must have said, I'll connect you, or I'll stay on the line with you, or whatever. So the husband then called the financial institution.
It answered my financial institution, fraud department, and I said, okay, I've been a victim of identity theft and fraud.
And so he calls multiple times to multiple different people, and then they start saying, yes, here's the way this is handled. You have to get gold and we'll come to your home and you give us the gold.
Oh,
Not the gold.
The gold. And they would come to his house and he would hand them the gold. And this goes to like the U.S. Treasury and they'll reimburse you the cash into your account.
They would walk up, and then I would walk out, and then the transaction would take place. I would hand them the package, which was the gold, and then they went away. And we were directed at that time to go back in the house, just stay in the house, and then they would confirm that Federal Reserve was accepting the package.
oh, I'm screaming stop at the radio.
Yeah, I mean, that's such, it's one thing to call the wrong number,
right,
or to answer, engage with someone like that, but to make that jump,
that's
to purchasing gold.
Well,
that's where I would hope even older people that would scream right there.
Red flag.
They're not even that old. They're like in their late 60s. I mean, it's not like they're 90, They're both with it seems.
Well, the Microsoft scam has been around for a long time. The something's on your computer, call this number. That's almost like a pop-up ad at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they've just never been aware of that. But when they would say go get gold, I'd have been like, okay,
it's like gold and gift cards.
Yep.
Those are the biggest red flags.
The FBI guy came on and said, the federal government no banking institution will ever ask you for gift cards or gold or Bitcoin.
Do we know how much this poor family lost?
They are out over $200,000, which is their life savings. They had retirement accounts, inheritance funds, and IRAs.
They turned it all into gold?
They turned it all into gold and handed most of it over. And then his wife says, now here's the real kicker on top of that. When they took out all this money from their accounts, that's taxed. So when they withdrew it, now they owe taxes on all that money.
You get victimized by the actual scammers, but then you're left with the IRS and consequences of having to pay. Because, like, for instance, we had Roth IRAs, regular IRAs, we had inheritance, all kinds of things like that we now are going to be subject to paying taxes for. And we're not prepared to do that.
They're out all their money. The FBI is investigating, hoping to get it back for them, but now it's very difficult. The guy, by the end, the scammers made several trips to his home, and he did take pictures of their license plate, so he has that. But other than that,
not much of a lead, I guess.
No, not much to go on. Thomas, you're talking about these scammers that got this poor couple. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, I know I was the same way. I would always say, like, how do you fall for this stuff? But I'm telling you, when you're in that moment, they catch you in the worst time. I mean, I'm 31. I consider myself, pretty weary of things, and I'm pretty sound mind. And my wife was arrested one time for something minor, and I was contacted by a gentleman who claimed to be a captain of a police department. And, long story short, I wound up sending these people $3,000 driving to the jail and not finding out it was a scam until I walked in the jail to get my wife. And the guard at the counter says, please don't tell me you just said the name you said. I said, I'm here because of Captain so-and-so. And it was actually the commissioner of the police, in my local town. They used his name, but instead it was a captain. And I mean, you're on the phone with this lady, and they send you back and forth between the reception desk, and they give you like a confirmation number, and I mean it's very, very legit. Man. And I'm telling you, I didn't find out. I mean, I was devastated. I walk in the jail to get her out, and the guy tells me, "Man, I'm sorry, but it's a scam."
God, I'm getting a bad feeling in my stomach just hearing that. It's so awful. I'm sorry that happened to you, Thomas. Thank you for sharing that story, though. And you're right. I mean, they get you like this couple. In a moment, they just don't know. They're so smart about it. They're so slick, and suddenly they've gotten rid of their life savings. It's gone. I mean, that is devastating. Scott.
Maybe you could tell them about your I'm not spending any money plan.
I didn't want to bring it up just right then, but yes, next year.
The lame Chris is on the line.
Scott, you're talking about scammers. Go ahead.
Yeah, P1 listener here. I worked at a credit union, and this story is actually not surprising to me at all because we've had multiple members come in and about the phone system. Like these scammers, they will clone phone numbers. I've had members with their laptops where you can literally see the scammer using their mouse. Like, they have control of their screen. They've been able to withdraw money from their accounts. Once that account number is on the screen, they're able to access that. We've had them withdraw money from their accounts, take them to Bitcoin machines, and once the money is in there, we can't do anything about it because they have voluntarily given their money over to scammers. And a lot of the time, just like the previous caller, they get you at the worst time, because when you hear that your money is potentially in trouble, you get in panic mode and you make decisions that you wouldn't normally make in everyday circumstances. I've actually even talked to scammers on the phone while they're in the middle of trying to scam them at the teller line. They've called to threaten to kill us while they're on the phone with them. Wow. Like, if you leave the building, we're going to shoot you and all this kind of stuff. So there have been crazy stories that I've had to deal with these members. So that does not surprise me at all.
Oh, my God. It's unreal. I mean, I read that people try to scam you like 150 times a week through your phone, through your computer. Mm-hmm. You know, all these text messages you get all the time. They're always scams. Man, that is really brutal. Blogger Jen, haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on? You have a scam story?
Yeah, so it was just about like a month or so ago. Somebody hacked into our church's email database and started sending out emails via, like, as it was from the pastor, asking to converse about something via email that was discreet. And I, like, fell for it. Like, I was just like, oh, yeah, sure, I'm here, you know. And he was like, I need to go. I need to get a gift for some ladies who have cancer that I just want to give them something to help them out. And can you go to Target? And I was like, I don't want to go to Target, but I guess so.
Yeah.
And then he asked for 6 $100 gift cards for Target. And I was like, heck no. I don't have $600 to give, even if I'm just lending it to the pastor. And at that point, I remembered earlier in the day, we had gotten an email that he had been hacked. I did not listen to anything anybody says, and I promptly forgot it and then fell for the scam. But I did not buy the gift card.
Wow. Well, you got close. I'm glad you didn't fall for it all the way. Yeah. Even if you'd been warned. I know. You get those warnings sometimes, and you think, well, it won't just happen to me. Mm-hmm. Can happen to anybody, obviously. Thank you, Blogger Jen. It's always good to talk to you. Thank you. One more quick one on Angel, a scam story. Go ahead.
So my mom got scammed with a Blake Shelton impersonator saying that he was Blake Shelton. He was trying to do a concert and needed funds, and we don't know how much she gave away, but we found stacks of gift cards.
Oh, God. And how old's your mom?
Well, she's 71, and unfortunately, like maybe 6 months after this happened, she got diagnosed with dementia, so she really didn't understand what was going on.
Right.
It was kind of hard to get the details after that, but she swore up and down she was talking to Blake Shelton, and he needed her help.
Man, this is disgusting.
You hear about those celebrity people pretending to be celebs.
I know.
More and more.
It's disgusting. Yeah. To hit somebody like that who, a little older, now with dementia. Thanks, Angel. I'm so sorry that happened to you and your family. Golly. And these people who lost their whole life savings over that.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I think the caller earlier was probably right, who worked for banking institutions. Victims, you just, in that moment, you're panicked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you heard the guy who called who was 31 who thought his wife was in jail. Mm-hmm. Terrible.